Ooh, we are live. Are we live? We are live. Okay, so, hi. The first thing I want to know is the sound okay? Can you hear me clearly? Woo? Hi, handsome. Well, hey, yes, yes, sound is good. Okay, good, right? This is the first time. Hi, everyone. Oh, this is so nice. Look, I made my room all nice for you all. I put the candles on. The fairy lights. Guten Abend. Bonsoir. I don't know how to say it in Danish. I think there's somebody here from Denmark. And hello, America. Hi. Good morning, New Zealand. This is Turf Island calling. Okay. Right. It's a bit, it'd be nicer if we were all in the same room and we can just bounce off each other. So it's going to be a bit weird talking to you and then keeping my eye on the chat. But today's a good day, so I wanted to share some positivity. Some people were scared that I've cut my hair, but haha, it is all still here. And it kind of gets in my face. All right. Okay, now I look like a witch. But as a child, I always wanted to be a witch, so okay, that messed it all up. Never mind. It looked really good before the cap. What's all this? Okay. What's all that? Okay. Ta-da! Righty-ho. I watched Chocolat, Mr. Menno. You look like... Oh, okay. So sorry, I'm just kidding. Witches are amazing. Absolutely. And as a child, I always wanted to be a witch. As a little boy. I used to love that. And when I was 6 or 7, I was cast in a play as a witch, as Father Witch. There was a whole family of witches, and I was Father Witch, and I loved it. So now it feels like supporting the Turvan Coven. It feels good. It feels good. Okie doke. So, first of all, the sound is good, you said. So I thought maybe we could start with just a little bit of music. I don't know how long this is going to last. Like, Karen Davies goes on for like 2 hours. I'm not going to do that. Kelly J usually does about half an hour, sometimes 45 minutes. So we'll see how it goes. I don't want to keep you too long because, I know you've got a life. Okay, let me switch this on and funk it up a bit at the start. Boom, boom. Okay, that means that the sound is working. Now I just need to get this going. Sorry, I'm going to be worse at this than Kelly J. That's not a dick for Kelly J. See, this is why life is dangerous. What am I doing? YouTube. Okay, is this going to play? Yes.
It is ma'am.
I was absolutely fuming.
It is ma'am.
And this is not the first time.
It's not the first time it's happened.
It is ma'am.
This is the second time in 2 weeks being called sir.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
It's ma'am.
I always dress female.
I am a lady.
I'm a
What
lady.
is ma'am?
On that particular day, I had a blush pink.
I had a blush
coat on
pink
and a
coat.
pink scarf.
Time to stop calling me a man, because quite clearly I'm not.
I'm a real woman.
I am a lady.
It is ma'am.
I'm a real woman.
Okay, so first good news of the day is It Is Ma'am has hit 270,000 views on Facebook. I was absolutely fuming, Dan the man, absolutely. Oh my God, I couldn't believe that. So, because I put the videos obviously on YouTube, that's where I get my most views, and I also put them on Facebook. And this one, I put it up October the 6th, and it got a few thousand views. Okay, nice. And then suddenly last week it went bing, 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 and then it was on 30,000, and then saying bing, 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 100,000. I'm like, what? Yesterday, well, just now actually, 270,000, that's over 250,000, which is mad. And so I thought, I don't drink much, right? I'm not a drinker at all. I hate beer. I hate wine. I put it in my cooking. I love cooking. But I thought I'll get myself something special for this evening, which is Ron Miel, which is honey rum liqueur from Gran Canaria. And as you see, I've got a bit left, so I just thought, cheers, everyone. Happy days to a 250,000 views. That is so good. It's basically honey with alcohol. I love sweet things. What was really interesting about the comments, because obviously with over 250,000 views, you get quite a fair bit of comments, is most of the comments went, they're just men. Like, a lot of people they just went, they're men. Why are they being so stupid? And I was surprised by how many of the comments were along those lines. Prost from Germany. Okay, danke schön. It really shows to me that the majority of people, you know, maybe they're not aware of all these things, but they see that and they're like, they're men. What are you talking about? Obviously, there were a few people saying, oh, it's transphobic, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But most of them are just people going, boom, these are men. What they're talking about? Well, they are men. I thought it was ma'am. That was kind of really refreshing to see that the majority was just, you know, common sense reactions. Okay, so that's good. I've made a list of the things I want to talk about, right? So I don't forget stuff. And I don't want to ignore anyone in the chat, but I'm very bad at multitasking. I'm a typical bloke that way. So that was good. The other good news is, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, is the conversion therapy bill, or the bill for a ban here in the UK. I know that in Canada it's passed, which is bad news. Sorry. Oh, I did that in a very Katie Montgomery way. When Katie Montgomery coughs, he always switches off the sound and then it goes. Anyways, ladies, I'm going to do the Kelly J thing now. Thank you very much, Lady Studio, for your $5 American. So in the UK, different groups, including Stonewall and Mermaids, and there's something called the Coalition Against Conversion Therapy, which is, you know, it's all the wokey dokes, as Karen Davies says. It's they want to really push this conversion therapy ban through, and they've been campaigning for that for years. So the Tory government then said, okay, we're gonna do that, and they started a public consultation. Normally, public consultations are about 12 weeks. Wokey dokes. See, now I think that when I point at the chat, that the person in the chat knows I'm talking to them. Okay, I'm gonna have to get used to this. You need to read out her chat if she donates. What did she say? She said nothing. It just said $5. But thank you, Lady Studio. If you have anything that you would like me to relay to the wonderful people of the world, I'm all yours. And Lux is in the house. So, just for you. That'll make sense to her. Hello, Ella, Androphobia, and Tish. Thank you so much for joining. Mudmere, hey, hello. Okay, this is great. This is great. This is like a party. Okay, so I'm all yours. Okay, see, I get confused. Okay, so the push for a conversion therapy bill has been going on for a few years. The consultation was kicked off. Normally, consultations are 12 weeks. This one was only 6 weeks. And Stonewall actually didn't want a consultation at all. They just wanted to ram that thing through. Oh, Delfuna. Wow. Thank you very much for your $20 American. I think it's American dollars. Thanks for being you. Thank my parents. I'll pass it on. Okay, see, now I'm confused again. Thank you so much. Right, back on track. Conversion therapy ban. Right, so Stonewall, they didn't even want to have a consultation. They just wanted to push it through. Similarly, places like Mermaids and people like Helen Weberly. Thank you very much, Mary. Save our girls. We are working on that. Absolutely. And that's why the news today about the conversion therapy bill in the UK is going to be good news for women and girls, even though it's focusing on LGBT and all that stuff. I think it might help to change the narrative around women's rights in general. That I'm not a big strategist or anything, but that's what I'm hoping. Okay, so Stonewall didn't want the consultation, and someone like Peter Tatchell even protested outside number 10, I think. And they use the hashtag stop dithering. So they're doing the usual where they just want to ram it through, and they're playing on people's emotions. Oh my God, gay conversion, it's so horrible. Of course it was absolutely horrible. The things they used to do to gay men and lesbian women, electroshock therapy, lobotomies, chemical castration, is absolutely awful. These things don't happen anymore. In what's my take on the RT Morty Karen Davies thing? Do you know what? I'll get back to that, but remind me. See, oh God, there goes my brain. God, I've lost my. What was it? What was the last? I need someone to help me and say, Menno, this is what you were talking about. Okay, yes, they were. Tatchell, he was protesting, and the hashtag they used was stop dithering. They just wanted to push it through without scrutiny, because obviously they don't like the scrutiny. They don't like the debate. So they weren't even happy that there was going to be a consultation period for 6 weeks, even though it's normally 12 weeks. And today was going to be the deadline. So I was going to fill it out today, because some people said it took them 2 or 3 hours to fill out the consultation. And yesterday it was announced that the consultation has been extended, not by another 6 weeks, but by another 8 weeks, which is going to take us to the 4th of February. So now we have until the 4th of February to fill out the consultation. And I'll put links in the description of the video afterwards, so you can come back to those and find them. Because I really feel that we can make a difference now. We were already making a difference halfway through the consultation. So the reason it's good news is obviously now there's more time. And I think the one thing that we really need to... You're kidding, right? Yay, Karen. Oh my God. So last night, when you sang the Biosex is real. Dun, 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 dun. Biosex is real. I was lying in bed, and you were singing that to me, and I was drifting off. So thank you very much, Karen. I think you're fantastic. I think you're amazing. And I have a question for you, which I'll get to later. Anyways, so, okay. The consultation's been extended. We have more time now. And already MPs are raising the alarm, saying, whoa, 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 whoa. We need to be very careful with what we're doing here. And I think they're starting to get the idea that you can't lump gay conversion or sexual orientation conversion together with so-called gender identity conversion. Obviously, that's what this bill is all about. It's to get gender identity coded into law. That's what the whole thing is about. And it's just piggybacking onto the whole gay thing, because that's what people understand, and that's what gets them emotional, and straight away they go, oh yes, we must ban it, we must ban it. We need to absolutely separate those two. So why did it get extended? There are some people that have made quite a bit of noise, and one of them, who is an absolute formidable person, that I really want to put a spotlight on her, because over the years she's been making quite a difference, and I don't think maybe she gets enough credit. So that's Dr. Nicola Williams from Fair Play for Women, who basically threatened the government with a judicial review if they were going to go ahead as a with the consultation as it was. Also highlighting the fact that autistic people wouldn't have had enough time to be able to deal with this consultation in a rushed sort of way. Now, obviously, Mermaids, Tetchell, and Stonewall are going like, it's not rushed. We've been asking for this for years. Okay, but the process itself is now that things are being kickstarted, was being rushed. So Nicola Williams, she's just done a formidable job. Obviously, there's Maya Forstater and her organization Sex Matters, who have been campaigning to pause the ban. And then there are a group of gay men headed by, it's now called the Gay Men's Network, headed by Dennis Kavanagh Jebediah on Twitter. Most of you will know him, who basically put together quite a long document outlining the concerns that gay men have with, the proposed legislation. And women, I'll get a bit emotional now, so I'm going to have a drink. That'll probably make it worse. This always makes me a bit emotional. Women have been at the forefront of this for years, ringing the alarm, setting up organizations, starting campaigns. I am in awe of what so many women have done and what they've achieved. I really have. Oh God, here I go. So it's really good now to see gay men stepping up together. Dennis put this document together with the help of a bunch of other gay men. I think it had over 200 people sort of signing it, which is fantastic. And it was even quoted in the Daily Mail. Now, the Daily Mail, you might go, oh, Daily Mail, but it's in the mainstream press. And it's now, MPs are starting to look at this and go, okay, well, we need to look at this really carefully. So this is good. It obviously buys us a lot more time. It'd be very interesting. Yeah, don't cry in front of women because we all start to cry. I'm a crier. I cry very easily. I cry at Wife Swap, if remember that. God, I cried at the Simpsons. There's a scene where Marge Simpson is in bed at the end of an episode, and she's lying next to Homer, and then she sings to him in that funny voice of hers, going, "You are so beautiful to me," and I couldn't keep my eyes dry. So now there's more time. And this is obviously the thing that the likes of Stonewall and Mermaids and the Coalition Against Conversion Therapy don't want. Just as they didn't want debate, but we're having debate now. And now we have more time, and we're really gonna, let's just make as much noise as possible during this consultation that we have to separate gender identity so-called conversion therapy from actual gay conversion therapy. Billy Preston was a gay man? I didn't know that. Okay. So there's a solution that's been offered, which is we legislate for the gay conversion therapy ban first. Okay. And obviously we'll have to be careful how that's phrased so that therapists can still just do their job. And we completely separate that from the gender identity stuff. There is a review of the Tavistock going on at the moment called the Cass Review. They're supposed to put out a report next year. So we should at least wait until we've had that report before we start legislating about so-called gender identity conversion therapy. What does that even mean? And does it even happen? That will need to be clarified. And of course, they don't want to have the spotlight on that. That's why they just wanted to piggyback onto the gay stuff, and people go, oh my God, gay conversion therapy, terrible, can't happen, and push the whole thing through, just like they got self-ID through in Ireland on the back of equal marriage. Transition is conversion, says Crumley Ducklin. I'm absolutely 100% with you. So we've got more time. Now, let's get them to separate out gay conversion therapy from gender identity conversion therapy, because if they then legislate for that separately, they're going to have to be really clear about what gender identity is, if any conversion is happening, on what scale, is legislation even needed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now there's one story of gender identity conversion that I found. VF555 says gay is real. Absolutely, we can define it. Yeah. So here's a story of gender identity conversion. And this is also the danger of this whole gender identity conversion legislation. They're going to try and make everything sound like gender identity conversion that doesn't affirm all these magical identities. Okay, that's what you have to watch out for. So I'm going to just take you through a little story here that I found, which for me had me fuming like that bloke in the It's Ma'am video. I was fuming. Okay, so this is a story by somebody called Kai Skevers. It sounds like a Dutch name, Schevers, but I don't know how they pronounce it or where this person is from. They transitioned. So this person was born as a lovely baby girl, and then decided at some point in life to transition, but then decided to detransition. And what I understand from that blog post that they wrote is that was their choice. And then for 7 years, she lived as a detransitioned woman. And she was taken in by a group of red femmes. I think most of them were lesbian red femmes who took her in, gave her support. And after 7 years, she decided, oh, I'm trans after all. And actually, these women who were giving me support, they were trying to convert. So sorry, see? Oh, God. It's because I barely ever drink. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Lisa? Where are you originally from? I'm Dutch. I'm from the Netherlands. Oh, that's so yummy. So, see, I've forgotten what I was talking about. Oh, yes, this person. So after 7 years, decided, actually, I am really trans, and it's really, that's who I am. That's my true self. And all these women that have taken me in and given me their love and support, they were practicing conversion therapy. Okay, so just as the word man and woman gets completely twisted and turned upside down, now they're doing the same thing with conversion therapy. Like, we know what conversion therapy is, and it's a terrible history. And it's like they're taking that and appropriating that for their own, again, uses. And it's like, Delphine Evenhuis. Yes, that's a Dutch name. I thought you were Dutch. Same as your dad. Okay, so you're half Dutch. Delphine is a beautiful name. Evenhuis is a funny name. Not funny as in ha funny, but Evenhuis. Because house is house, and even is like equal or the same. Or it's the opposite of an odd number. An even number. Anyways. God. Oh, yes. Okay. So this, it's just incredible to me how someone takes 7 years of support and twists it into conversion therapy, and now calls herself a survivor of conversion therapy. I think it's a real slap in the face of those women who supported her. And it's a slap in the face of all those people that suffered actual conversion therapy. I also read a post by the lovely Helen Weberly, the disgraced gender GP person, who I think is now awaiting her judgment, and that might take a while, about her recent tribunal, who said that even like if you don't recognize someone's pronouns, that's a form of conversion therapy. So they're really trying to that side of it, they're really trying to push this, that anything that doesn't affirm is conversion therapy, which is nuts. And obviously the way that the proposed legislation is phrased, it doesn't allow therapists to properly do their job. They could easily be accused of conversion therapy. So there's another story there of an Australian psychotherapist. So just having a look, Leslie B says, the politicians here vilified all the lesbians and gays who spoke out against recently voted in gender. Oh, God. Time to leave this woke nation. Right, so there's this story of an Australian psychotherapist who had a client, in woo language, a trans man. So this young woman comes in for therapy. The therapy wasn't about the trans stuff. And she just had lots of issues. and he was scared to mention it because he knew, but he felt like he couldn't bring it up. And in the first couple of months of the therapy, it didn't go anywhere because that became a barrier. And it's almost like he describes it like they had a bit of a standoff where he was, she's trying to be the man because she's a trans man. She has to prove how manly she is. Whereas he then started feeling insecure about being a gay man because obviously gay men have often been told that they're not actual men. So then they had a bit of this standoff, like who's the real man here? Eventually, they had a point where he said, look, I know you're trans, we need to talk about it. And that's when they started making progress in the therapy. Now, under the proposed legislation, he wouldn't have been able to do that because then she could have accused him of, you're trying to change my gender identity. That's why it's so important that legislation is properly phrased and properly done and not rushed and not with ambiguous terms. So when they started making progress, this girl realized that the reason she transitioned is because she had issues with her mom. This is just in a nutshell. I'm really simplifying things here. It's a 26-page document I read, so I'm just trying to summarize it for you. She had issues with her mom, didn't really want to have anything to do with her. As she started going through puberty, her body started to resemble, thank you, Jane Smith, started to resemble her mother's body very much. Her mom had a very specific build, and then her build became exactly the same. She really wanted to disassociate from her mom as much as possible, and that fed into her wanting to become a man. As she realized that and sort of came to peace with that, she then started. She stopped seeing herself as a trans man, and she started seeing herself as non-binary. Now, if I hear that somebody says, "Oh, I'm non-binary," I usually do an eye roll, and I'm like, ugh. But in her case, I can sort of see why that would make sense for her because, having been on testosterone and having had surgeries, now she's kind of caught in between. So in a way, I think going from trans men to non-binary in her case is a form of progress. But who knows? Somebody might then accuse that therapist of, she changed the gender identity, and did she do it voluntarily? Or, this is where it all gets very messy. So let me see what I wanted to cover and if I've done it all. Done my thank yous. Oh, so let's use this extra time that we have, fill out the consultation, and all put our foot down and say, legislate for gay conversion, absolutely. Deal with the gender identity separately, and make them prove it. Make them prove it why it's necessary, because we can't have anything being put in legislation where, say, that so-called survivor then goes after those women and somehow accuses them of conversion therapy, because again, that doesn't even include therapy, right? But they're now just using conversion therapy for anything that doesn't affirm trans. Okay. So I told you that. Also, I was offered conversion therapy myself here in London. There was a so-called spiritual center that I used to go to for 3 years. It was called the Center for Gnostic and Anthropological Studies, or we just call it the Gnostic Center, and they're still going. It's a worldwide place. Their headquarters are in Spain, and they say they teach you about philosophy, spirituality. Oh, Dragon Kittigan, really? I'm sorry to hear that. So I used to go there for 3 years, and the first year was just one evening a week, a lecture. So they would talk about stuff that I really love, right? The legends of King Arthur and what it sort of represents about the human journey through life, and all that kind of stuff. The pyramids and the Sphinx and what that represents about man's spiritual journey through life and religion, stuff about Jesus and Islam and different mythologies. I just really loved how they pulled everything together. And they always said it was all about love and non-judgmental stuff, right? So they dressed it up in a nice way. Just as they're trying to dress up the gender identity stuff in a nice way. The second year, it became 2 evenings a week. And the second evening would be what they called a practice. So that would be like a creative visualization or a meditation, something practical. And again, I really liked it. But I started having my doubts about this organization because then they wanted us to come in a third time a week, like on a Saturday, because we could learn Spanish, right? Because the headquarters was in Spain, and all their literature was in Spanish. So they said it's always better to read it in the original language. So we can give you free Spanish lessons, free lessons. And you can see how first it's 1 evening a week, then it's 2 evenings a week, then it's a third. It's the weekend as well. They also had an annual event in Spain every year. And I never went, and they always kind of went, "Why aren't you coming, man? Oh, it's very important, your spirit will grow," all that kind of stuff. They always dress it up in spiritual stuff. It would be 1 week, we'd stay in a luxury hotel, and it was at least £700 for the hotel. And then you have your flights on top of that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, look, that's really pricey for me. I can't really afford that. And they're like, you're creating barriers for yourself. This is your ego creating resistance. Like, why are you doing that? Don't you want to grow? Blah, 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 blah. Hola, Guillermo. You will learn Spanish once you meet your mother-in-law. Sí, gracias. That's a cult you're in, Menno. You know what? Yes, dodgy. Anyways, after 3 years, they phoned me up and they're like, we'd like to speak to you. Hello, Deutschland. We'd like to talk to you about your spiritual progress. So I went along and I already knew what the conversation was going to be about. So I sit down with one of the guys who used to do the lectures. I always liked him best, very friendly man. And he basically asked straight off, are you gay? I said, yes. He's like, yeah, that goes against our teachings. And just a few weeks before, we'd had a lecture about what they call the keys to sexual alchemy. It's basically how do you use your sexual energy to awaken your spirit, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And they came up with a couple of rules, right? No masturbation, no sex if it's based on lust, and no gay sex. That was bad. It makes your spirit short circuit. So we talked for a bit, and then he said, okay, here's a choice. The choice is you can, we'll give you 6 months, go home, meditate. And after 6 months of, committed meditation, you will realize that you are really a straight man and that you thinking you're gay is just an illusion created by your ego. Okay. I said, what's the other choice? He said, the other choice is that you don't come back. So you choose to live a lie or you choose the truth. And he said that being gay is one of the worst things that can happen to a person. So I asked, okay, well, there's a big, bookcase full of books, in Spanish, all this literature you have. If being gay is the worst thing, surely you have a book you can give me about that. And of course they didn't. Was there any guidance? No, of course not. So I just had to go home and meditate the gay away. And then he said, once you come back, you have to go back to the very beginning, because obviously, 3 years, the message hadn't quite sunk in. I was still gay. So I had to go back to square one if I was to come back. And then he said, you might even meet your future wife here when you come back. And then as I left, I knew it was coming, but I was still a bit flabbergasted by it all. When when they say that to you in your face. So I walk out, and then I hear him call out behind me, "Remember, Menno, the sodomites end up in the seventh hell." Anyways, that's a reference to a poem from the Middle Ages by Dante called The Divine Comedy, which describes hell as existing of 9 circles, and every circle has its own type of sinner and its own type of punishment. It's really cruel. And the seventh hell apparently is where the sodomites end up. So I never went back. Do I think that this type of stuff can be outlawed? I don't know. I don't know how you're going to police that. I'm just glad I got out of there. Although I do miss it sometimes because, we learned lots of things. But yeah, it's everybody started speaking the same language after a while. And that's when okay, that's no good. So that was a bit of a detour. Your path, Gia says, your path to peace is still close to... Okay, Gia, you have an agenda. You have an agenda. I know where the seventh hell is. I know now. I know exactly where that is. Okie dokie. So how long have we been talking? 36 minutes. All right. So what else did I want to say to you guys? I just want to say thank you for... Oh, I was going to ask Karen something, right, which leads nicely into this. Okay, so what I'm working on next is I wanted to do a video that shows what I've done in my first woo-woo year, if you like. I started getting vocal September last year, so I want to do like a 12-year review. A 12-year review? God, hopefully don't have to do it for 12 years. A 12-month review, just to show you the videos that I've made, the articles that I've written, the protests that I've attended, the speeches I've done, so you can get a good overview of everything that I've done in these last 12 months from September to September. The next thing I want to do that I'm working on now is I'm writing the lyrics is a Christmas song, obviously. Karen Davies, this is where I need your help. So the song that I've chosen is The 12 Days of Christmas. And I'll give you a little taster. On the first day of Christmas, the wolves gave to me a rainbow dildo monkey. On the second day of Christmas, the wolves sent to me 2 scary ribbons and a rainbow dildo monkey. Right, so you get the gist. Now, I need, Karen, what I would love you to do is if you take the line for day 5. On the 5th day of Christmas, the woo sent to me 5 AGPs. Wouldn't that yogi life? Thank you so much. I'm glad I made you laugh. So Karen, email me if you're happy to do that. I'll put the song together. I'll send you the track, and then all you have to do is just your end, just record 5 AGPs. That would be absolutely wonderful if you could do that. And I'm also going to ask Kelly J if she wants to do it, because her last video on AGPs, AGP, easy as 1, 2, 3, was great. And this is what I love about Kelly J. Is one of the women that really opened my eyes. Magdalene Burns and Kelly J to begin with. And I don't watch all of Kelly J's videos because she does them every night. But every time I watch one, she teaches me something new. And I love that. And she can sing, and she loves to sing. She doesn't do it as much as she should. But if I can get Karen, if you can do AGP, and then if I can get Kelly to do it, Kelly J to do it as well, that would be my Christmas present. Ask Vanessa Voki, good idea. Okay, so that was my question for Karen. Somebody asked me how I feel about the whole Karen Artie Morty thing. And this is what I have to say about that. I think Karen's critiques, her analyses, are spot on. I love how Karen cuts right through the bullshit. And the way I see it is, when Karen smells bullshit, she goes after it. And if that then results in more bullshit, she's going to go after that bullshit. And she points out the patterns. And I think it's very important that we recognize those patterns. Leslie, you're just saying, ask Julia Long. You know what? I don't think she's too keen on working with men. I don't think she'd want anything to do with me. So yes, I think and Karen makes a lot of videos, yeah, but that's because she goes in depth. She goes deeper than a lot of other people do, and that takes more time. Framing Karen or the women asking questions as bullying, that doesn't sit well with me at all. I think that's wrong. And it's interesting because I've noticed that in this whole thing, there seems to be a limit. That when you get to a certain point of being critical, suddenly people go, oh, now you're being nasty. And I've had this from some people because I included a reference to Mr. Hayton in one of my videos and called him out as a woo-woo clown. And I'm going to make a follow-up video about that. And then people say, you're being a bit harsh. And suddenly we're getting this narrative of just be kind and be quiet. Now, doesn't that sound familiar? So I think if we are to consider ourselves as being critical, then be critical. Tomboy Princess, David Hayton. I didn't know his name was David. When things don't stack up, it's fair enough that we look at it and that we call it out. I also have to say that with, because this goes back to what August, I think, when Karen made a verse video about Artie. And she basically said, look, this is what it looks like to me. If I'm wrong, tell me. You know, if anything, I thought it was an invitation. The response to that was hyperbole, vitriol, lots of emotional stuff, just like, and even I got some of it because I said, responded on that video, love how you cut through the bullshit. And then Archie wasn't pleased about that, and then said I was throwing him under the bus. And I'm like, take it easy. I've reached out to Archie a few times on those videos. I said, hey, come, this is my Facebook page. This is where you can direct message me. Let's have a chat. He's never taken me up on that. I don't know why. So from what I can see, Karen is sharp. I like her style. And I just think with Karen, if you're honest, then you're open for a conversation, then, you know, you can have a good conversation about stuff. If you're going to not answer questions and beat around the bush, and suddenly come for women and call women homophobic or this and that and saying that they have blood loss, nah, that's no good. I'm not going to drink to that, but I'm going to drink. And Karen, you're still there, right? I don't take well to being told to take down my beers. Look, if you want Karen to take down a video, the last thing you say is, Karen, take down your video, because then you know it's never going to happen. Duh. Okie dokie. Look, we've been talking for 45 minutes. Hello, Australia. Stone the Chrome. I think I've said everything I needed to say. I want to thank you so much for joining this evening. And Tish, go watch some stuff with your son. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for joining. And let's wrap it up, right? Let's wrap it up. Let's end it with a bit more music. Also for next year, I've got plans for next year. I want to do some interviews with some incredible women. One's already said yes, so hopefully I can do a few more, where I want to focus more on not necessarily on what's been going on and this happened and that happened, but I want to focus more on the human side of it. You know, how have they experienced certain things? How have they dealt with, you know, disappointments? Edanya, that's a beautiful name. Huge fan of the music. We're going to play some right now. And thank you very much for your $5 American. I love doing that. Okay, more Menno Live. We'll do another one, maybe this year. Well, after I've done that video where I've just sort of done a review of the things that I've contributed to the calls, if you like, and then we can have a chat and we can have a Q&A. Now, let me just find another little song as an outro. The most recent one, which, was quite dark, but we have to get that stuff out. Which was another good thing about the It's Mam song getting over 250,000 views. Most of the people watching it, I think, were straight men. And they're going, this is ridiculous. And then I got back to some of them going, well, actually, and they're like, oh, but it's got nothing to do with me. And I'm like, well, it does, because it affects your wife. It affects your grandma. It affects your mother. It affects your daughter. It affects everything. Nahanda's great. Nahanda worked together with me on the Magdalene Burns tribute. Okay, so I'm just going to play a little bit of In the Ladies. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. It's been really nice. Thank you so much. I wish we could all hear one another. Okay, Doc, let me just bring this up. Okay, turn up the volume. I hope you can hear it okay, because I'm just holding speakers at a mic. If it's too loud, let me know. But here we go.
Want to get in your space, right in your space, including your toilets. And do you know how?
If it's too loud, let me know. I'll turn it down.
I got a trans woman in New York. They had to pee. Couldn't go take a pee in the ladies' room.
Where can you find pleasure? Steal a woman's treasure. Gaze at female nudity. Where can you begin to make your dreams all come true? Free your inner AGP. Walk around undressed with hairy balls and chests, knowing that they can't complain. Say your name is Lorna, men spread in the sauna. Say you have a female brain. In the ladies. You can all sing along now. You can wave it all about. In the ladies. Security will bring you in the ladies. Okay, one more chorus. In the ladies. You don't need a TRC. In the ladies. I'm reading the comments that make me laugh. In the ladies. And in the never get job. Let them pee. Let them pee. Let them pee. Validate their identity. Okay, there we go. That was the first live stream. Thank you so much. Okay, so Karen always says, stay strong, ladies. And Kelly J always says, you know why we're going to win? Because I never lose. And I thought, I don't know, should I have a catchphrase? One video I ended with, keep it real and keep smiling. So I'm going to end with that again on this one. Keep it real and keep smiling. And